Ready to do 90 laps around the famous Watkins Glen road course, final road course event of 2017. This is the I Love New York 355 at the Glen, and it's time to bring the action. The 24 of Chase Elliott positioning there. Daniel Suarez on the inside. Kyle Larson doesn't fight Kyle Busch for that top spot into turn one. And they stretch their legs, Bagman, towards you.
And Kyle Busch does exactly that, Lee. He'll stretch his legs and extend them to a 2.5 or a 3-car length lead. It's the other Kyle. Larson to second. Truex to third, with Chase Elliott fourth and Aaron Jones rounding out the top 5 as they set up for the first run into the bus stop.
The hardest braking zone, Bagley. They smashed the brakes. A lot of teams worried about those brakes after overheating them in qualifying. Kyle Busch continues to get ahead of the field as you see a lot of cars getting single file from being 2x2 as they enter the carousel, and here you have to be single file. If you were 2x2 here, you'd be losing a ton of time as they exit off the carousel towards you, Jeff.
And you see Kyle Busch, he's only extended that lead. Going to make this left-hander into turn 6. Jamie McMurray taking a peek at A.J. Allmendinger. Nothing happened. A.J. Allmendinger's got to protect this inside line. Everybody's still single file right now, Beck.
Jeff, a relatively subdued opening lap, but don't expect it to stay like that for too much longer. Kyle Busch leads Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr., then Chase Elliott, Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez looks to the inside there in the 19. Oh, and contact was there between McMurray and Allmendinger. AJ runs wide.
Allmendinger trying to regroup, get back out on the race course. He is going to lose a lot of positions, but he's back up to the gearbox and back up the hill to turn number 3. Here comes Kyle Busch through turn 2, up the hill to turn 3, and he has been flawless so far. He's been blowing them all out of the water at this early portion of this race, and he's not really had to force the car. Right now, though, he's in his own zone as he is headed to the zone where Parker Kligerman is located.
Right, Bagman. He has been putting a beating on the rest of the field as he comes to the inner loop, absolutely destroying the curve, just hopping directly over them. And it's actually something he's been doing throughout this weekend, whether it's in the Cup car or the Xfinity car. He has been the chatter of the garage for what he's been able to do in the inner loop and how fast he's been and how much faster he's been in the rest of the field, Jeff.
And Parker, you have to wonder, after last week's win at Pocono, does this team have momentum? We've seen them not be able to close victories off. They've had the speed, but after getting that victory, is that going to move them forward to just lay a lot of victories between now and the end of the year?
Coming to the end of stage 1. And that is stage win number 9 in this season for the 18 of Kyle Busch. And Jeff Burton mentioned momentum, Steve. Last weekend's Cup win, even though he broke a 36-race winless streak, the win there, the win yesterday, which was dominant. It was a spin and win, and he fought his way back through the field. Now he wins the opening stage of this race. I think there's big momentum there. As we welcome you back to the Glen, big news involving the 18, the car that dominated the first stage.
Lee, he did get a win in stage 1, but Kyle Busch back on pit road. He said he felt like he had a left front wheel that was loose, and they had a long radio conversation about it. Adam Stevens said, well, if you're positive, come back down pit road. They wanted to make sure that nothing was perhaps, Steve, stuck behind the wheel, that could have been the issue. But here's a radio conversation with Kyle Busch and Adam Stevens.
Coming back to you, loose wheel. Let me check with these guys here, pal. I'm 1,000% confident. You know which one? Yep, left front.
And remember, yesterday, Kyle Busch had to go to the back of the field after he spun by himself in the Xfinity Series race, came back up through the field, was able to win the race. So they're hoping for a little more magic like that this afternoon, as Adam Stevens is telling them right now, we'll take our lumps. We have a fast car. We can do this.
Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott on the front row. But remember, they have not pitted. They're working a different strategy. McMurray's on the same. Ready to go here at the Glen. Let's do it. Good restart, Chase Elliott. Here comes the 42 on the outside. Kyle Larson, but does he blow it? He tucks it back in just on the other side of the curb. Jamie McMurray's able to grab that second position away, and here comes Daniel Suarez.
Larson throws it away on the restart. Chase Elliott capitalizes. So does Jamie McMurray. So does Daniel Suarez. Kyle Larson able to get back on track in the 4th position. as everybody steams up the back straightaway, getting set for a run through the bus stop.
Chase Elliott with a big lead into the bus stop here. Continues to keep that lead as they go to the exit. Jay McMurray not able to make up any ground. If anything, losing ground as they come into the carousel here. Looks like Chase Elliott is feeling really good about the race cars. You see, actually, Kyle Larson get very loose in the center of the carousel. Nail handling car there.
Daniel Suarez, the Xfinity Series champion, has grabbed the lead after the 24 of Chase Elliott came down pit road for the first time in today's 90-lap race. And you see where everyone else is placed. It's an interesting thing, the blend of ages, Steve. You've got the experience of Harvick, of Johnson, etc., Kurt Busch, the guys who are in their late 30s, early 40s, and then you've got the changing of the guard. People like Daniel Suarez and Ryan Blaney and Eric Jones in their early 20s. I mean, it's an interesting kind of juxtaposition, isn't it?
Well, and I think it's a great time for the sport seeing that. Right here on the screen, you have Daniel Suarez and Matt Kenseth. You know, this is two careers. You have one starting, one perhaps finishing. Matt Kenseth, I'm sure, has some years left driving, but not decades like Daniel Suarez has. So it's a healthy time for NASCAR to have this mix of young and veteran drivers.
Martin Truex Jr. trying to score his 15th stage win of the year, but he's got to get around Daniel Suarez to do it. He's chopped it down to 3 car lengths. He's chopped it down to 2 car lengths. And he's trying to take home this stage win, but he's got work to do, Parker.
Just not close enough to make the move down in the loop, but he gets right to the rear bumper of Daniel Suarez as they're coming into the carousel. If he can get to that rear bumper, maybe take some air off the rear end of that 19, get him a little bit loose and get that run out of this corners. You see him get a good run and use all the racetrack off the carousel, Jeff.
Suarez did a nice job of maintaining speed in the carousel. You saw the 78 beat him up bad getting in the inner loop. Only 2 corners left where Daniel Suarez is trying to hold Martin Truex off. Can Martin make a move on the inside? Suarez blocking, not letting him make that move.
Oh, the 78 lit it up out of turn 6. This is going to be the first stage win for Daniel Suarez in the 19, and he does hold Martin Truex off for the stage 2 victory. Well done. That was tight at the end.
Save heavy for me.
Good stuff from the 25-year-old from Monterrey, Mexico. First year in the Monster Energy Cup Series, and he gets a stage win. Ready to go to begin stage 3. 46 laps to go. Let's do it here at the Glen. Suarez with Truex on the outside. Blaney in the red and white 21 for Wood Brothers. You'll see him in Penske colors this time next year, and Truex takes the lead.
Around the outside and to the lead, the climb to the clouds through the S's. It's Martin Truex Jr. He's away with the point. He's pulled away by 3 car lengths over Suarez. You got Ryan Blaney, Matt Kenseth, also Denny Hamlin lined up there as they go streaking down the back straightaway.
That they do into the inner loop, which is lined with fans on the fences on the right and the left, surrounding this entire place. Oh, as we got trouble here. Somewhere in the midfield, 2 cars go spinning. Looks like the 2 car of Brad Keselowski and the 18 of Kyle Busch.
And Kyle Busch was coming up the outside, entering the inner loop. He was a drag race with AJ Allmendinger, came up on the 2. He's been chopping the field up left and right, but perhaps that was one move just too many.
You see Brad Keselowski kind of committing, and I don't think he understands the 18 is to his left. He's carrying the speed in there like he's going to have all the track on his left-hand side to work for. It wasn't there. He makes contact with the 18, spinning both cars out.
Back at the Glen, you're watching the I Love New York 355 at the Glen. And this is Martin Truex Jr. for Furniture Row Racing. Leader and leading convincingly by almost 5 seconds last time by. Let's head to pit road for an update on the 2 with Marty Snyder. Marty?
Well, the other part of that incident a moment ago with Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski was that 2 car. Brad Keselowski finally told Paul Wolfe, he said, listen, I have a vibration. I can't keep it out here any longer. He thought he might have a tire going down. All the tires are indeed up, meaning they have air pressure in them. However, though, they were very badly flat spotted. So now a caution on the track. That's going to throw another wrench into all this. You see the 34 car having an issue and a tire on the track as well. But Brad Keselowski did pit, and they might be able to stretch it from here, Steve, save some fuel and try and make it to the end. Who knows?
Yeah, as I saw the 34 of Landon Castle's tire go down during your report, that's exactly what I was thinking. So you see as he enters turn 1 here, the left front tire is just soft. The nose is already on the ground. You see the sparks. So something obviously cut that tire. We haven't seen any sort of tire trouble. Then Landon does the best job possible nursing it around, but there's nothing he can do from behind the wheel. The piece finally comes off. Huge piece of debris causes that yellow. And as you were reporting, Marty, 41 laps is a lot farther than I would like to stomach, but Paul Wolfe now has at least a chance. Maybe he can gamble with fuel strategy and try to recover from these issues on the racetrack.
Back at it here at the Glen. Ryan Blaney forceful in the middle there. In the Wood Brothers 21, he's getting all squirrely. McMurray on the inside in 1. Truex is in the mix. So too is Chris Buescher. He's a good little road racer. He may feature here. Keep an eye on the 37.
Chris Buescher right now on the heels of Martin Truex Jr. as the battle for third tightens up. Clint Boyer's got company. He's got on his bumper Ryan Blaney, although Blaney will slip in the S's, and here comes Martin Truex Jr. poised in position and ready to pounce.
He throws a block on Martin Truex Jr., the 21 of Ryan Blaney, trying to hold him off into the inner loop. Gets a little bit squirrely once again. Martin Truex Jr. is be right on his back as Kenseth is side by side there, is able to get to the inside of Chris Buescher. We'll see how they go side by side to the carousel here. You see Martin, they are side by side. If he can get the run on the exit here, he'll be in good position going down to turn 6.
Look at this, the 78 of Martin Truex Jr., the points leader in the Monster Energy Cup Series, headed to the playoffs with the most points, goes wide at turn 7. Brad Keselowski leaves the door wide open, and Truex takes the lead. This car has clearly been the class of the field. The 18, if it was there, that would have been an interesting battle, but this has been all 78 as he has just checked them off one at a time. Is Martin Truex Jr. headed for his 4th win of the year with just 26 to go. This is it. It's coming down to Martin Truex and Matt Kenseth.
For the final time, downhill to start the ultimate uphill run through the S's. It's Truex and Kenseth. Kenseth desperately needs this win to make the playoffs. He's been waiting for this moment all year long. The question is, can he get there? Truex by 10 car lengths for the final time to the back straightaway.
Bagman Martin Truex Jr. just did the slowest lap of this run, almost 4 seconds off one of his fast laps. He gets in the grass and makes a little mistake there in the inner loop. That's going to allow Matt Kenseth to gain. This is where you have to push. As you come off the carousel, you've got to give it everything you've got. If this car has enough fuel, it will make it from here, Jeff.
Kenseth can see the ticket to the playoffs right in front of him. He's praying Martin Truex Jr. runs out of fuel as he approaches turn 6. Only 2 corners left to go.
Matt Kenseth, can he do it? Truex locks up into turn 6. 1 corner left. The difference may be between making the playoffs and not. The guy who leads the points, the guy who needs the win, it's not going to happen. Martin Truex Jr. will win at the Glen, and he's running out of fuel, but he makes it. Oh, what a thriller. Truex does it. He's won at Sonoma, and now he's won at the Glen. And he was the smartest in the fuel game.
And it turns out he had more than enough fuel to get the job done on those closing laps. Martin Truex Jr. saying, I hate these fuel mileage races. And so then you could hear the elation when one of them finally panned out for him. He had to make a charge, he had to save fuel. Martin, it came down to fuel savings there. And finally, one falls in your favor.
I can't believe that. Man, that's so stressful to just let guys go by for the lead. I've never had to do that before, but I've got so much trust in Cole. He was telling me what to do, and he knew based on our lap times and how fast we were going what we needed to do. So just hats off to him, this whole team. I mean, I've wanted to win here a long, long time. This is a special place. I think back in the 90s watching my dad run here, and coming here as a kid and spending time in the garage, just walking around and wishing someday to race here, let alone win. So this is a big one for our team. This is a big one for Cole. He had a tough week, lost his best friend, and really thinking about his family, and just proud of Cole and his perseverance and everything he does for this team. And Barney, and everybody at home, thank you guys so much for letting me drive these things.